Okay, game. Oh my god, Vivi, I know exactly what he's going to do in this game. Well, I'm not going to say that actually because when he doesn't do it, I'm going to look stupid. But the very first game of the Arabia Invitational that I casted, I think it was, yeah, the first one I casted, and it might have been the first game of the tournament. Vivi played Viper on Arabia and Spanish, and I was casting that with Helene, and he did like Trush FC Conks and absolutely murdered the Viper with it. So if he does that again, I'm going to be really interested to see if Fire falls prey to it. Because everybody would be having Fire as a favourite here against Vivi, but Vivi's really good, and he's good with unorthodox stuff like the sort of thing I've just described in trashing and forwarding. So he's a really exciting player to watch. Really enjoy his games when I do occasionally see him. And with Spanish, so many Chinese players do seem to like for the trashing potential. He's sort of signalling his intentions. If Fire is the kind of person who sort of notices what other players are doing in tournament games or something, he'll be looking at this and thinking like straight away, I think I know what's up here. And also he's vastly more experienced than me, so he'll probably know anyway. But anyway, Fire picking the sort of conventional choice of Celts. We've seen plenty of Celts in the Dry Arabia games thus far. Not going to keep banging on about my stat about them being the most used and highest win percentage in Arabia Invitational, but I did once again, so there you go. Let's take a look at the maps with Vivi being in red. If he does what I said he's going to do, then all the action should theoretically take place in Fire's map if he's able to force that into happening. So perhaps Vivi's map won't come into play so much, but it's not a bad map certainly with Celts. No, sorry, not Celts. He's Spanish. If he wants to later on, after securing an advantage, he can go home, wall up a bit quite well in the southern side. Walling towards the TC in the north, it's kind of difficult, it's pretty open. He's taken this wood line in the back. Fine for now. His other ones are right out in the front, but pretty sizable. He's got all the gold and the extra wood in the back, so pretty decent map, if slightly open towards the top side. Fire, let's look at his map from the point of view of defending against what we're expecting Vivi to do. Got a decent wood line in the back, but it's not going to last much longer than like late feudal. So he's going to eventually have to shift to either this wood line on the front or up here, both of which are very far away, very exposed, and vulnerable to towering. His main goal is in a decent spot within the interior of his base. No laming, just scout attacking villager. Try and use the hill bonus. Vivi no loom for now. Yeah, gold in a decent spot, but both stones in the same place, which means if one gets denied by the trash, then both of them potentially being taken away in one fell blow could be really damaging. And other gold mines really far forward, almost in the middle of the map in the case of the third gold. So Fire kind of vulnerable to Vivi doing a trush if that's what he's going to do, and it's kind of hard to like wall off and restrict his movements as well, especially if he gets denied of stone. Vivi also doing some walling in a good spot at home. He's actually protecting his main stone with this first wall off. Shooting the TC with the boar, nerve wracking every time. I remember like Clan Masters final game 9. I think it was Yenghua shooting the boar with the TC, and the commentators in the game, I think it was nearly a robo, saying like, "Why would you do it? It's game 9." I just can't believe the nerve of some of these players, particularly the Chinese players. It seems to be a Chinese thing in particular to actually do this in the tournament games. What is Fire doing? He's bringing a villager forward. Is he trying to lame Vivi's stone because he knows what's coming? Or what?
Kid?
I have no idea what he's doing. And Vivi's going to send more villagers out from the berries. He's Not liking the fact that fire has a villager in base. Just gonna look at home. Nothing. No giveaways at home. And that villager is about to be a dead villager, pretty much. The scout of Vivi does have low HP and it's taking extra damage downhill from fires. But it's not gonna. That village just isn't getting in the way. Being walled in, it's gonna have to walk by the TC. I'm just bemused. Like, the only thing I can think he was doing was he's looking at Vivi's Civ, and he knows what's coming and he thinks, right, I'm going to go and lame all of Vivi's stone by building palisades around it. But nope, he didn't really try to do it, did he? So Vivi still in the Dark Age for now. 465 food. Still needs to drop some off. I feel like he's not going to actually go forward anymore because the thing is, Fire's already wanting to trash him. He's got his own villager's mine stone at home. We should see him do a mining camp there. Why has Fire got 600 wood? Does anyone know? Anyway, 4 villagers going from Fire. Gonna be looking to drop towers, but the thing is, he can't really hit anything of Vivi's apart from up here, and Vivi already walling the whole thing. So with Vivi going up in 27 villas, it looks like he'll just fully wall and probably try and just go straight to Conquistadors, already heavily on stone. So he's not doing Drush Trush Conquistadors, as I've said. I know he's going to do it, and then he promptly doesn't do it. That's why I was like, no, I'm not going to say he will do it. I just wanted to see it because it works so well in the Arabia Invitational. But yeah, it looks like he's going to try and wall the whole map. Maybe defend with some towers, and he'd try and get a greedy castle age time and get a castle up and go conks. Unless he's forced to hang around in the feudal age because of Fire's feudal aggression, making him take a lot longer. So 1 tower and an outpost right next to the tower for Fire. Interesting one. I guess he'll be able to see if Vivi's putting one up. Not really helped him all that much, has it? He's locating the stone over here with his scout. Vivi's going to already do some interior re-walling here, try and slow Fire's progression through his base down. And Fire now tower hopping past the two houses diagonally. We saw that in the Fang Zhao Qi doing that in that game against Nilly. So Fire is going to take away completely this forward main stone, but knows Vivi's on the second one, so it's not as big a win against the Spanish player as it might be if Vivi's second stone was like here or somewhere. And now Vivi will get up his own tower in defense to halt the tower creep from Fire. Unfortunately, the tower that Vivi placed was a little bit too close to Fire's one to finish building without arrows being launched from Fire's tower, but it is now up, and that's forcing Fire to have to divert his push around to the north. But Vivi already being on stone, with ultimately aiming at a castle, of course, means he can drop towers with impunity wherever he likes to just stop Fire from roaming around. And you can already see Vivi's intention here. He doesn't want to get drawn into dropping first a barracks and then an archer range or something to defend against Fire. He wants to defend only with towers and potentially stone walls, as cheaply as possible. Get a market and a blacksmith, can't currently afford one, and go up and get up onto conks. I really love the just like the characteristic styles that some of the Chinese players have. Though, like we saw in the Nili Fang Jiaqi series, like there was a real strongly identifiable style that Fang Jiaqi had in that game, with the way he would wall up at home and then forward. And Vivi, okay, he's not trushing, but you know, it's just picking Spanish out of choice on Arabia every time I've seen him, like this year. Always focusing around either tower offense or tower defense, getting onto conks. So Vivi is about to click. He's already researched wheelbarrow. Fire, meanwhile, back at home. Market blacksmith as well. He's researching wheelbarrow. When that's finished researching, he'll be able to click up to Castle Age as well, I think, because he's not spending any additional food in this time, unless he's needing to get fleshing or something, but doesn't look like he's going to do that. And he'll pretty much bank the food in the next 1 minute. Might queue one more veal before he goes. He's heavily on gold though. He might actually just buy some food as well, like buy 100 food to go a bit faster, because he's going to have over 300 gold. Yeah, Fire now looking to get through this wall with his tower and try and apply some pressure to the main stone of Vivi, who is actually only on 200 stone. I'd have expected a little bit more. I don't know if he used the market at all to maybe sell 100 to go up a little bit faster, but he's having to drop another 100 to actually defend now. So for the moment, Fire is ensuring that Vivi is a long way from actually having the stone to build a castle. For quite some time to come, and to be honest, the difference in the Castle Age time in that respect isn't even going to matter, and neither is it going to matter from the point of view of Vivi doing knights or anything, because he hasn't even built his barracks or a stable, and he's not going to be building TCs probably straight away, because he's going to be saving the stone for a castle more than likely. So really the difference in Castle Age times, the Fire being like a minute and a half later, is really not going to affect him too much at all in this game. Finally though, Vivi actually building a barracks, so it seems he realises I'm not going to have a castle for a very long time. Let's get some knights. More than likely we'll see a stable come up next as soon as he has the wood. And he actually gets depleted to 34 stone. These forward vills though, I don't know if Fire's actually spotting them. He can't even see this area at all, like even with the terrain, because he's actually mostly not explored the area. He just about sees the gold mine, of course. It's Fire's third gold. I guess he might do forward stable, and that's why we saw the barracks there. He does forward stable. That could be really dangerous against Fire. Looks like he maybe wants to TC this area. I don't know. When he hits Castle Age. Yeah, forward stable. Interesting. Fire has reached Castle Age. TC on the gold. Okay, when the knights come in, that's going to buy him some a safe haven, but it's not going to stop all his villas from being forced idle if the knights are running around under the TC. These villagers are going to be the most vulnerable to the knights coming in along with these. Now Vivi really heavily on stone yet again, so it seems like he either wants to stonewall everything, because he's now actually dropped his first panels of stonewall in some places, or he's decided that once he does the forward surprise knights, he's going to follow that up with a castle, or maybe dropping some more towers in Fire's base as well. Fire monastery, so he's seeing the stable, or he's expecting it. No, he hasn't seen anything. Okay, monastery at home as well. Sorry, offensive monastery and defensive monastery. Wants all the relics, and he's just expecting the knights. He hasn't seen, unless he saw one cross line of sight somewhere, then he hasn't seen any, or the stable. So it's just game sense from an expert player there to actually just think, right, I'm going to have to defend against knights.
Kia.
Good fast walling there. We'll need another panel here. Gets it. That's absolutely fine. Idle vills there. Knight's going to work really well now. Fire's done a good job of like zoning out all the knights around here. This is a bit of a problem. Good job for him. There's only one knight moving in and not like 2 or 3. Quickly take down vills. No, this isn't the semi-finals of the tournament. These are recorded games from round 1 of the tournament. Here he goes. Vivi, I love you. You absolute crazy guy. He has 3 knights, but where's Fire's monks? He's got 1 there, 2 there, so he could get the conversions. This could backfire on Vivi so quickly if the tower goes up and then 2 knights get converted. Finals are being played in sometime in the near-ish future, depending on organisation, because the Chinese streamers will want to stream it because the Chinese community sponsored the cup as well. So it's a matter of players getting home. But anyway, focusing on that. So there were at least 1 conversion. I think it's just the 1 conversion because there were 3 knights there. But that castle denied on 75%-ish, 75 to 80%. And Vivi, that's just a really big cost to him to actually have that castle fail. It could have been hugely advantageous for him and potentially decisive to get it up, but the cost of actually losing that, he's lost some knights, he's lost some vills, he's lost all the stone from it unless he deletes it and gets like 100 stone back. But here we go. All his eggs in one basket. This castle is going up, says Mr. Vivi. It's not fully walled by Fire. Although it might be when Fire sees this coming. This is hilarious. I'm so glad that we're actually casting these wrecks in particular. You just knew from the first moment of the game when Fire had a villain in Vivi's base for no reason at minute 6 that these games were going to be funny. It was pretty damn close. Like Vivi needed about like 20 seconds more of vills of being at the base of that castle to get it up, and Fire would be in a lot of trouble. If you imagined castle on this hill hitting the stones, hitting the TC, maybe reaching the goal with Bodkin, Conquistadors coming out under the shadow of the castle, but now Vivi losing everything, like so many villagers just to get this tower up, and Fire is just like, I'm going to kill you with all my villagers. Like, what? 15 villager difference opening up between the 2 players now, and it's about to be bigger as soon as those 2 go down for Vivi. He's still no closer to getting the castle up, and with having lost more villagers, more stone, and Fire walling it up even more, he's now even further away. So, Vivi, what's your plan? I don't know. He's behind walls, at least. That's the only thing going for him. Buy 1 TC more. Vivi bought 1,000 stone. Are you... I think that's a bug. I think he's bought 500, but it shows twice. There's some bug in the overlay to do with stone buying, I think. Or it's showing some things twice. I think if they shift click, it shows as 1,000. If they shift click so it's 500, the overlay shows it as 1,000. I believe. Because he definitely didn't buy 1,000, he bought 500. He's buying another 100, so he's building another castle. He's deleted that one. And it's going to be here on his other stone line. Vivi... I swear Vivi's Spanish are like a special civilization that only needs stone. It's like one resource. It's like he's playing a strategy game where the only resource is money, and in Vivi's world, money is stone. And now he's buying food with gold. So this castle will reclaim that front stone. It will take down 2 towers, and he will eventually, in like minute 33, probably, when he's idled his TC enough to be able to afford to order Conquistador.
Thank you.
Actually be... Oh, donation hype. Let's pause this game because it's fantastic. Will work for ice cream. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that because you're consistently chucking in a few dollars to the stream all the time. So thanks very much for supporting Masters of Arabia 2v2 as well. Game is paused, guys. I'm not missing anything. Let me just update the counter for sponsorship, and we've reached $300. That was before I did the stream. I had in my head if we could get from 200 to 300, which we started on 200. That would be absolutely awesome. And we're here already with quite some time to go. So thanks so much for all the support, everyone. For the tournament itself, obviously this money does not go to me. It sponsors the prize pool for the upcoming Masters of Arabia 2v2, which I hope everyone's really excited about. Anyway, let's continue with this fantastically strange game as Vivi inevitably drops a mining camp on his forward's main stone. Sort of forward anyway, and the first conquistadors are being produced. They're being shot by a tower, along with all these villagers, like Vivi's mining stone under the shadow of the tower, like he just doesn't care. The castle will take care of the tower soon. Have a look over here. Fire onto his 4th TC, and is that a 5th? Yes it is. Feels quite safe to just defense fully and booming then. He's going to be suffering conquistador raiding fairly soon, of course, with Vivi now starting to produce them continuously. But all the time he's actually surging ahead with vills. Vivi's going to have to pull off some kind of remarkable aggressive play and do a lot of damage to Fire to slow him down. And Fire actually has 2 knights in the back of Vivi's base, whilst we've been kind of laughing at what's going on here, and maybe I was a bit distracted by donations. Fire did have a couple of knights in the back. I can see 1 villager skeleton there, but there's not a major mass grave of villager bodies, so they haven't done too much. Have a look at the conquistadors that should be crossing the map. Here they are. Taking a little bit more time, so let's see what the knights can do. Who's got 1 conquistador to defend at home, and obviously these knights are permanently being shot at by towers. They have no upgrades, so they are taking a lot of damage from the arrow fire. But for now, just picking up a farmer there. And Fire now preparing to drop a lot of barracks. So I guess he wants to get out some pikemen to help defend. It's not yet preparing for an Imperial Age transition, it's too far away from that. But he could actually sell some wood to actually balance his economy a little bit more. Get a bit more gold, make some more monks, because monks great counter to conquistadors of course. But between pikes and monks and his own converted conquistadors, he'll have it covered. So Fire sold 500 food and 500 wood, and then bought 200 food. That's a bit of a misclick, I guess. It's indecisive to actually sell food and then just buy it back. Vivi now buying food, still with no food but lots of gold, and not really gathering wood at all. He's got like 5 lumberjacks, 2 more up here, and still heavily mining stone. So he wants another castle. He wants to get enough conks to actually get a foothold and then come forward and then try for the castle again somewhere, somehow, which I'm just really excited about. I want to see Vivi try another epically ballsy castle at some point in this game. Pikemen being researched by Fire. Added archer armor for Vivi, not really gonna protect those conks that much against spears hitting them. And the conks do a huge amount of damage as well, so it's in terms of percentage reduction of the incoming damage. Added archer armor when you're struggling for food, I don't think I like it really. I like Bloodlines a hell of a lot more because that means they can withstand a couple more hits.
Monday?
And Vivi is getting more conquistadors converted. There are pikemen swarming everywhere, and Vivi has to be really on top of keeping the conquistadors out of the way of those pikemen, because with the Celt bonus they're pretty damn fast. Obviously with a little bit of micro the conks still eat them for breakfast, but if they get too close then it's a big old heap of damage to actually sustain. And here we go, Vivi, he's going for the castle. He only has 3 conks next to it. And Fire's dropping a castle on top of it, and he doesn't even know, because the foundation hasn't appeared. It's 1 HP. That Vivi was going for that castle. Go for it, Vivi. You've still got it in you. You can still get that castle up. And he's, like I said, he's letting those conks get hit by the pikes. They're being wasted pretty quickly. And Fire's got monks converting, although I don't see him anymore. He still got shot by the conquistadors. A lot of pikes. He's still going for it. Is he? Where's he going to do it? All the villagers are being shot by that one conquistador. Nope, we're going home. Still 750 stone. 1,000 gold. I'm really sad that he didn't just send like an extra 20 villagers and just try and race fires to this castle. Forgetting all losses, as long as 1 villager places the final hammer on the building, it would be worth it. She'd be a hero in our eyes, Vivi. And now Fire hitting the Imperial Age. Does that make Vivi conclude that the cause is lost? The answer, yes. He wants to get another castle here, but securing an extra gold, really not that important with Fire being in the Imperial Age and gonna get just like Hal plus siege and kill him. But is that the fake GG? No, it's not. There we go. He does actually resign. Yeah, Vivi, no food at all. Hideously unbalanced economy. But what an awesome, entertaining game. It's not the kind of standard game you expect to see, and I guess that's why it's so entertaining. It was just such crazy, crazy moves by Vivi, but I tell you what, he would have been entertaining the crowd in that room, in the live venue for Clan Masters, and I don't know what the Chinese stream viewers who would have been rooting for him would have thought of it. With that bit of friendly rivalry between the Chinese and international players, but that was a fun game to watch. Achievements. Vivi, I expected him to have a lot more stone relative to Fire. Is it? But yeah, villager difference obviously. Fire collecting so much more food and wood goes up to Imp, and Vivi's like, okay, I'm done, I'm cooked. Right, let me just prep the second game ready to go, and then I'll BRB, and we'll be watching it very, very shortly. Okay, just give me a minute, and we'll go for game 2.
Oh, thank you, you wonderful man!
Okay, I'm back. Hopefully Lamberiac is in the chat still, or still listening to the stream, because I was unfortunately away when he or she gave their donation. But thank you very, very much. Sorry that I missed it live. Thanks to the people writing donation hype in the chat for actually alerting me to that. So let's update the text before we head into game 2. I'll probably do with watching these wrecks on slightly faster speed to try and get through them all before the start of Brothers in Arms and give myself time to actually have dinner. But maybe we'll have to cut one series. I'll try and do the rest of them another time if I don't manage to do them all tonight. So we're on to $311. That's awesome. Really happy to see. Okay, cut the music. Fire versus Vivi, game 2. Ivik, just stop. Stop right there. Alright, this is Vivi's home map, because Fire won game 1, and he's chosen what looks to be Regicide Fortress, as a specific version. It's BCC3 at Fortress, which I think was the version of Regicide Fortress that was actually in the Clan Masters map pool. So I think players could choose as their home map any map that was in the map pool. I may be completely wrong with that, but it rings a bell. So let's see if we have any interesting things going on with kings in this game. Fire already hiding a king in the north. This would actually be an awesome area to leave his king, actually, if he scouts this, because at least until this wood is chopped, like, that is probably the safest place on the map, rather than in the forward tower or forward castle. There was a Regicide Fortress game that's definitely worth watching in the series between DauT and Riot, and I'm not spoiling anything with that because their other games from the tournament are already casted and online on YouTube, so that's not telling you the result of any of the other matches that we're going to see today. I think after this we've got like Viper versus Fangzhou Qi, and is there one other series? Yeah, Fire versus Yinghua as well, I think, is another one. Oh crap, I've just spoiled it. Oh no. I'm so sorry guys if you were actually watching this intently and wondering who was going to win. I feel really bad. That was a bad mistake, but anyway, we'll see how this game plays out. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it's a Regicide Fortress Dark Age. The players will just be building up, and it is a Mayans war, so we'll be expecting to see Rams and Plumes primarily, and some onagers in the Imperial Age, but both players will try to raid a little bit in the Castle Age. But ultimately, you know, with the bases being quite defensible, the stone walls being up, it's almost invariable that players will kind of race to Imperial Aging, get into the classic Plumes and Rams fight, and then Imperial Age Mayans war. Nobody in the chat let anybody know. Don't do it. No details. I love how it's only Leo's making fun of me. Yeah, I maybe shouldn't have dwelt on it, but I just felt so stupid that I'd done that. It was all going so well up until that point. Anyway, both players heading to the Feudal Age. 24 population of 23, so Vivi going slightly... Yes, one villager later actually. Sorry, I was looking at the uptimes there. They're all around Vivi, about one villager's worth of time behind, one villager ahead, so neither player with any significant difference in the Dark Ages there. Scouting wise, Fire is now going to see he has this lovely safe pen to leave his king in if he wants to. He might want to put it back up there. I do remember a game in like one of the recent team game tournaments involving... Oh no, was it WSVG 1v1 where one of the Brazilian players, maybe it was Miguel or someone, or maybe it was Fire, just left the king in the northern corner of the map and it got sniped out of nowhere. And he just, you know, all the other Brazilian players were making fun of them, I think. I wonder if it was Fire. Oh, I've got a feeling it was Miguel. Anyway, players obviously just leapfrogging into the Castle Age, market being done, and blacksmith as well for both players. Gotta speed it up some more still. Fire on his way to the Castle Age, 23 villagers in total getting double bit axe. Vivi just seemed a slight step behind. I mean, when he clicks up to the Feudal Age, he was like 1 village's worth of time behind. This time, 2 villages ahead, less than 2 villages worth of time behind, so he's slightly caught up on Fire in terms of idle, but he's up time 43 seconds difference, and it means Fire will just stop booming a tiny little bit earlier with the extra TCs, but how much difference does it ultimately make? Probably not a lot. But for the moment, that's the only difference between the players, and it's the only thing they're doing. Interestingly, though, Vivi already on the extra stone. See, don't have at the moment. They don't have enough stone to actually make a second TC at the moment. Neither of them. So, Fire, given that he's not mining stone, his stones are actually in pretty crappy positions. We'll probably buy stone to make a 3rd TC. Let's slow it down a little bit now. We're in the Castle Age and stuff is kind of happening. First plumes coming out for Fire, just the 2. Betting is done. It's going to give him a little bit more range to actually try and pick off some vills and a little bit more attack power. Vivi, 2 TCs straight away. Up into mine stone. Fire looks like he's not getting the 3rd TC straight away. He's actually really heavy onto the plumes initially. 3 plumes ahead of Vivi at this point. And he's actually going to pick a vill on the northern side and delay Vivi's 3rd TC. It's not massive because Fire himself isn't getting a 3rd TC just now. Vivi actually had delayed a loom, as I am assuming Fire had done as well. So those villagers going down really quickly. Vivi now getting Bodkin. That 1-for-1 here. But he's just really outnumbered at this point. He's out-teching Fire with... I know both players now having Bodkin. If he can keep to his healer, he'll do okay. But it does come down to micro, and Vivi just still needs the numbers at this point. Needs to get these guys into the fight. Not take fights that are like 8v3 or 8v4. Because the kill to death ratio is already looking better for Fire. Actually, as I say that, I don't even have a kill to death ratio on my overlay. Where's it gone? Let me I can't bring up the menu for it. That's really weird. It should be Control plus Shift plus S, but it's not working. There we go. Display kill death and main table. Why don't I have that on? Go. 4-4. So it's kind of stabilised a bit. 12 military to 11 and even kill to death ratio. But Fire really ahead in vills actually. Despite the fact that he was only initially adding a 2nd TC compared to Vivi trying to go 3 straight away. Vivi lost vills. He had his 3rd TC denied. And maybe Fire just beating him a little bit with the multitasking. And he's actually starting to open up a bit of a villager lead. Which in combination with being 3 plumes ahead as well. It is an advantage for sure. It's a small one, but it's ultimately going to just speed him up through the game, give him a little bit of an edge in the fights, maybe allow him to take relics later in the Castle Age if he's doing slightly better in the fighting, or early Imperial Age, and just accelerate his economy a little bit more, maybe get faster imp time, and of course Fire did manage to delay Loom up until now, because Vivi just kind of felt forced to do it at the moment when he had this initial raid on his front plume. I'm sorry, on his front TC by the plumes. Picking up that one bill we saw leaving Fire's gate just before Loom kicked in, although it wouldn't have survived anyway against all these plumes. And with Fire having done Loom, Villager disadvantage is closed just a bit, of course. Fire now 5 military ahead. He's doing an impressive job actually on Vivi's home map. He just seems just a step faster, a step ahead in the multitasking, and just keeping his population higher. He had slightly faster up times. It is an interesting map for Vivi to choose as a home map, I think, because like we saw how his style in game 1 could only really be described as crazy. But Regicide Fortress is just, especially if you're expecting to go into a mines war, it's just so like to the meta to a T, and then it's all about execution. And Fire versus Vivi, you'd expect Fire to be the one who's having the better execution there, just playing the meta a little bit better, and you'd expect Vivi to pick a home map which is like something he can unnerve Fire on and catch him off guard. Like his Arabia strategies are all about that, and reverting to this style of gameplay on the home map just seems odd to me. But he's actually getting ahead now of Fire in terms of villagers, so it's pretty much neck and neck. Well, they're on even terms in villagers. I think it's because Fire was probably doing some upgrades at this point. Vivi's just now getting wheelbarrow. I didn't see if Fire actually got that. Yeah, just to address the confusion in the chat, we're watching 1v1 recorded games from the DauT Cup, the Clan Masters 1v1 mini cup that took place in China last weekend. It didn't finish, and as you see, a really nice trap by Fire here, but plumes are so fast and slippery to get out of the trap. Yeah, the games didn't all get played or watched by the international community last weekend, because there were many games going on at once. First and foremost, so only some could be streamed. So I'm streaming the ones that didn't get seen by everyone, and also the tournament didn't complete because they ran out of time with the venue. They got to like mangonel shot just missed. It got to like 6 PM on the day, and the venue was being used for something else the following day, so they had to prepare the venue, and AOC got kicked out basically, so there's still a semi-final and the final to be played, and that will happen at a later date. We don't know when. Good mangonel shots there, the double mangonel connecting on the same spot, doing a lot of extra splash damage to Fire's plumes, but the plume numbers for Fire looked a lot better until that shot, but now with 2 mangonels to 0 and a third one coming up for Vivi, he really looks in a good spot to apply some pressure to Fire. Ultimately it's hard to push in the castle and the stone walls, but he's certainly taking some initiative now. A little while ago when I was talking about it, saying like I'd fancy Fire with the just execution aspect of the meta game on Regicide Fortress, but because Fire did enjoy a better start to the game, but Vivi, is getting more towards an even footing now. I think probably he got onto a extra TC compared to Fire a bit quicker. He's actually on 4 TCs now. I think Fire is 2. Oh, Vivi's just not watching and losing all his mangonels to 1. 3 for 1 for Fire, that's really helpful. But Plume, no, it's not 3 for 1. That one's actually going to survive on 7 HP. But Plume numbers basically the same, 16-16 military. Imperial age times only 21-second difference. It's going to go into the mine post-him fight. Fire's really unlucky to have such terrible stone positions to actually mine some more stone and get multiple castles up. We'll see who's going to be faster to getting multiple castles and then multiple sources of plumed archer production. But Fire does actually have a second castle under construction in this area, which I think is a nice place the put one, guarding this gold and the extra wood, etc. Him monastery would be going up for Vivi, so he'll look to get in some relics. At the moment he's forcing all the action outside Fire's base so his monks can sneak and get some relics whilst this is going on. He's actually got 2 in the south that will easily be his, and his monastery's been built there. I had another monastery, did I? No, just the one. Fire no monastery at this point, and the relics are going to be harder for him to get. This one is certainly contested, as is this one, and then the other one in the corner is a long way for anyone to get. So Vivi can end up with a slight relic advantage. Plume's basically even, but the archers, sorry, the villagers is, well, there's a big difference as I opened up now, isn't there? That's how many TCs is Fire on? 1, 2, 3. And that one got delayed for quite a long time, and Vivi's on 4. So, I guess it's possible Vivi could have been on 4 for a while when Fire was on 2. But Vivi going to lose a lot of plumes and a lot of damage for free there. Those guys getting caught on sort of stand ground, no attack, whilst Fire's mangonels came forward. And Vivi not spotting it. Nonetheless, look at the scores. They're literally neck and neck. They were just swapped. They were so even. Fire 15 bills down though. See if that affects him getting the upgrades relative to Vivi. Right now, Bracer and +1, Bracer +2. +2 will complete for Fire in any second, but Vivi with the heal a little bit there. And getting the better of that fight, I think. Let's see if some mangonels and more plumed archer corpses on the whole. And +10 KD, kill to death for Vivi. So, taking a slight lead now. Definitely. And getting +4 armour. Whereas Fire going for Thumb Ring, whilst only having +2 for now. I don't see Thumb Ring for Vivi, I'm not sure. Do like the map control for Vivi though. Starting to wall off the corners. Secure lots of extra wood, make sure there are no raids going to come around the side, hit his gold, wall everything. And getting relics. So definitely Vivi with a bit of an advantage now after the earlier feeling like Fire was the guy who was a step ahead on this. +3, +2 with Thumb Ring. Vivi +3. Well, it's going to be +4 now. But no fights on the horizon just yet, so it's not going to matter too much as Fire is getting in the upgrades just a step behind. Nice catch on some vills here. We'll get probably 4 or 5 kills. Maybe all of them. Yeah, he's going to get all of them. Can easily get more kills on the wood line as well, and that opens up a villager difference of more than 20 at this point. I mean, once players start to get all the upgrades in, it's not gigantic because once all the expensive upgrades are researched, Mayans are so cheap, but you're certainly not going to say no to picking off a bunch of vills. However, Vivi's kind of split his army, and Fire is catching these guys off guard here, picking up some decent kills, although sustaining some losses himself. He is down on the upgrade still for a little bit. These other ones gonna move in, maybe get some kills on the stone here, denying the 3rd gold mine. Alright, so both players are getting capped ram now. So we're going to be launching into the traditional siege ram and plumed archer war. Both players obviously been producing mangonels as well. I'm sure in the fullness of time we'll start to see onagers as well. Castles 3-3. Vivi with a slight military advantage still, and of course maintaining that villager advantage. He's going to be the first to get elite plumed archer. He's almost completed that research. With Fire having not clicked it in. So he's going to have a few minutes where he's going to have a massive advantage in all the fights that he chooses to take, and I'm going to use this time to really even up, well, to extend the lead he has in kill to death, to clean up some more villages of Fire. As long as he's not significantly outnumbered, which he is here, then Vivi can easily take fights for the next sort of, well, with Fire having clicked it. I'm really getting caught by surprise by how fast this game's been actually. For that last 2 minutes, Vivi was taking and could have taken fights, with Fire not being able to do so much about it with the elite really helping out. Fire's ram train being larger, but and forcing Vivi's one to go back. Siege ram being earlier for Vivi as well as two-man sword. I didn't see for Fire, so this larger Feudal count that he actually has is definitely helping him to get upgrades in a little bit earlier than Fire. But the question is he actually doing anything to affect and decide the direction of the game with the early upgrade timings? Although he's getting some good kills, KTD kills to death is certainly in his favour, and villager difference is in his favour. Army size is larger. He's not doing decisive damage with the earlier upgrade timings themselves, but he's just in a better overall macro situation because he's got a bigger population. He's already at the pop cap. He's got relics. He's got map control, and now he's starting to actually push with the siege rams. So will Fire be able to actually defend this? That is the question. I'm going to slow it down now because we're getting into the meat of the game. There's no need to be running at quite the speed anymore, and we'll see how the game progresses from this point onwards. Fire 20 military population behind. He's evening up sort of a tiny little bit, but ultimately it's just plumes being traded for more plumes at this point. The big difference is that Vivi's actually taking control, well, starting to take control of the middle of the map, getting more rams, getting more trebs, building additional castles. He's about to be on 5 castles versus 3. And I think that is going to put Fire at just a really big disadvantage because he's already behind in the military production and the military count that he's actually got on the field. So to go behind in the production itself by 2 castles is a pretty big deal, and it looks like he's not really affording as much siege as Vivi either. 3 more rams and 2 more trebs bringing up the rear. This castle for Fire is going to go down, and Fire's going to be on 2 castles soon. I really do think this terrible stone positioning that he had has not helped him at all, but overall it's just Vivi being slightly ahead in terms of like economic situation through most of the game from sort of a few minutes into Castle Age. We really have seen a significant reversal from when Fire was just a step quicker through the earlier part of the game, and with all these siege rams being in this mix now, I can see a lot of Fire's plumes just like firing ineffectually at the rams. And in terms of the plumed archer numbers, Vivi a clear winner there, an 83 to 34 military, 200 to 140 population. More forward siege workshops coming up. Trebuchets deploying and destroying the castles and siege workshops. Fire's fortifications on the front are just crumbling right now. Yeah, Crash Chat in the chat says Fire got to do something crazy or he slowly loses, and I have to agree. Like, Fire's probably got to try a King Snipe now. He's really far behind in the population numbers in the military. Villager difference is starting not to matter. In fact, I think Vivi has actually deleted some villagers at this point, or just sent them to their doom just to get a bigger army on the field. Fire just slowly losing ground, and Vivi's actually got plumed archers into Fire's base at this point, picking up some vills. He might go looking for a king. I mean, he can now probably guess that this tower actually has the king. He can stand those plumes under the tower and maybe try and get them to quickly shoot the tower, because that Feudal watchtower won't last forever against archers standing underneath the tower. Elite plumes with all the upgrades. But a King Sniper against Vivi, which I'm saying I think Fire needs to go for, is going to be really difficult. Looks like his king's hiding out here. We can see the flag. Now Fire with back onto 3 castles, but he's about to lose the one he started the game with. Not sure where that 3rd one is. Down here somewhere on this hill. kind of difficult because with that castle over there, he can run around here, but having castles on like both sides of the fight, it's hard to reinforce the main mass. Just in general. This feels like an okay fight for Fire though. Vivi's rams behind the plumes for the most part, and he's actually picked up some good kills there. The numbers are evening a little bit, but that's all it is, it's a little bit. No obsidian arrows here. I only just about know that that's a thing that I think. Your HD balance jokes are going to be more or less lost on me. So it looks like the plumes that are in the back of the base got cleaned up, but Vivi still going to go in with some more. Picking up the villagers mining the last gold for Fire in the front. And Vivi has control over like 75% of the map at this point. He can take all the extra resources he's got, mining the extra golds down here. He's got, I think he must have 3 relics at this point. Just the 2, okay. But Fire, I don't think he has any. I don't think he's got a garrison monk, but not a garrison relic. I don't think it works like that, Fire. I think you're supposed to garrison the relics. But anyway, Vivi's actually going to nick this relic from right up here on the front and take that home and make it 3 for him, as Fire kind of tries to make his, what looks sort of like his big game-saving move if he's going to do anything here, bringing in a bunch of rams that he got saved up. Got a good angle of attack from the plumes because they're not, his plumes are mostly shooting at the plumes over here, whereas Vivi is shooting at the rams for the most part, so good positioning for Fire here, but whether it's going to ultimately be enough, even with the favourable trade he's making, I don't know. He's continuing to add the rams in though, lots of siege workshops. Picking up Treb as well. And Vivi, I guess with spare resources and perhaps sensing that Fire is going to have to try something, getting masonry and hoardings to maybe make his... Obviously it's always a good idea to keep your castles and your forward siege workshops alive, but masonry as well obviously helps out if there any king snipe shenanigans going on in the back. Hoardings only being helpful in that regard if you actually put the king in the castle, of course. Ballsy lumber camp, yeah. I'm not sure how that was ever going to work. But Fire is starting to run out of surface area of wood to chop safely. He's got some control over this area, but not really. I mean, plumes can easily go like here, 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 shoot all of those trees. This isn't safe to take. This is going to be emptied soon enough. He's going to have to go over here, but plumes could easily run in. Both sets of plumes firing at the rams in this fight. We've got 80 military on the map for Vivi, but it feels like it's all spread out. I think Fire in the last couple of minutes has done a good job of keeping his military grouped and keeping the rams working effectively. It looks like he either had more rams in that fight or microed the rams a little bit better. But this ain't going so well. Losing a lot of plumes there. You can see all these guys for a while there were shooting those plumes there, whereas every plume for every plume for Fire was just shooting the one ram here, and Fire's just taking really big losses there, even with all those rams. Fire meanwhile doing some raiding there, trying to take control of this, trying to TC this gold. It could actually work for him, I think, because there's nothing much here, and Vivi also trying a big ram push over here in the east, but villagers will take care of some of those rams, but the castle there actually gonna mean that Fire can't chase him all the way back. On the front, Fire continues to be looking pretty damn light on the plume front, and I really think this is the part where the just slight macro edge that Vivi's had ever since the sort of mid to late Castle Age after Fire's early game advantage is really starting to wear Fire out. Fire's like desperately looking for more resources to secure, more map control, and he can't get it. He's losing slowly but surely on the front in the main fight, and we're not going to see any king snipes in this game because Fire taps out. He's just ran out of steam with Vivi pretty much suffocating him. So yeah, I take back everything I said about thinking that Fire would execute Regicide Fortress Mines War better than Vivi, because after being slightly one step behind in the early part of the game relative to Fire, he got onto more TCs faster, boomed up, and was just always ahead in eco, in upgrades, and in map control. So just overall better play after like minute 15 from Vivi. Alright, let's get quickly into game 3. And then after that, probably need to take a break to get some dinner down me before Brothers in Arms, which means of the games that I hope to cast today, there are 5 series of games, and we're only going to get through 3 of them, unfortunately. But I'll try and pick them up at another time, or somebody else will. But yeah, it is best of 3, so let's get that game going. Not entirely surprising that Fire is backing himself on water here. We did see Slam versus Lix in the previous series, and Slam chose Baltic as a home map. And I talked about the merits of that, given that although sort of tyrants and more international top experts have historically fancied themselves on water against the Chinese, Lix did put on a good performance in the Clan Masters Grand Final against Slam, so it could have been slightly dodgy, but ultimately Lix didn't really fancy the Grush that much against Slam, and it was an easy victory for Slam, especially with Lix's failed sneak around the side. But here we see Fire picking it on water against Vivi, and if there is anything that Fire is a specialist in, it's maps like Rooster and Baltic, where it really comes down to execution of a fast Grush. There are many players that will consider Fire as the best sort of fast Grusher in the world on the really aggressive Grush maps like Rooster. Also Master of Islands champion, of course. So he's heavy favourite here. And we'll see how Vivi chooses to approach this. Is he going to fight Fire with fire, if you'll pardon the pun, which may or may not have been intentional, or is he going to go Lix mode and try and do something sneaky, send some villagers around the side, transport? But for now, let's speed through the Dark Age, because we've all seen players go for the Grush Dark Age build many times before. Fire sending his scout down the south side, and he's just looking at that, instantly deciding to go around the other side of the map. But actually no, he's going to go back and protect his dock building bill. Sent that villager out there without loom. I was saying in the casting of the previous Baltic game that, you know, unlike a map like Islands, where you try and do it without loom generally, the enemy scout being able to cross over to your side and potentially get a dock builder or just any old stray bill is, well, necessitates you having to actually get loom. I like this by Fire. Normally your dock builder vil will get 10 shore vision and take it back to the TC, which is really fast. It's really good, but realizing the deer is on the way, he can take back 35 with him, which is a big help for getting the uptime. So often when you drop food and you're at like 485 and you're like, oh my god, I've got to let the villagers out for 2 seconds and then gather them again, and with a bit of command delay, that can affect your uptime by like 5 seconds. So getting 35 extra, take back with you, really good. But nonetheless, Vivi's going to go up faster than Fire will. He's 1 villager higher, but Fire is only 11 seconds behind, so it seems like Vivi had a bit of delay relative to Fire in that Dark Age. So Fire with the slightly better execution, slightly less idle time, but nevertheless slightly slower up time on account of having made 1 more villager. I'm going to go out and get his second dock up now. Vivi doing the same, so for the moment it seems like he's signalling intention to fight Mr. Fire in the Grush War. He's actually going out to gold as well. Just the same. Really don't like this mining camp for Fire. I mean, it's not like he could have done a vastly better one because he's kind of housed his gold. Like, I'd rather have it there, but the way it's sort of touching the gold there, not fantastic. But initially, for the next few minutes, he's only going to want a few vills on gold. It's not going to make that much difference. It's a bit of a nasty main gold though in general, in terms of saturation in the longer game. So Fire, 3rd dock just being built. Lix already has it. Not Lix. Vivi already has it. I'm just producing out of 2 for now. Can't afford a 3rd right now. So he's going to be a little step ahead of Fire. Fire's going to be about 1 galley down in the initial fight and throughout the first few minutes, and he will need to therefore micro a little bit better or try and avoid Vivi for a bit until he's on a more even footing or it equalises the kills. So first galley's coming out for Lix. Why do I keep saying Lix? Well, I know why I keep saying it. It's because there is a snowy Baltic game like this, and the players are on the same side and the same colours and everything. But Fire's going to get fishing ships straight away. This is a bit sloppy from Vivi to allow this to happen when he's going to have more galleys on the field and everything's a bit faster. I'm not sure why he was going here either. Like, just go straight to the docks, I would have thought, when knowing that he was up faster. Down to 4 docks already though. Fire likewise, so no difference there, unless there's a difference in what they're actually managing to produce. But Vivi having lost all but 1 of his fishing ships now, whereas Fire still has 3 in play. Ignore what the spectator dashboard sometimes tells you, because when they go idle, they disappear from the fish count. But Fire really doing well with the first part of the Feudal Age when he was just going to be a tiny bit behind. Making sure he has more fishing ships working for the next sort of minute or 2 after Vivi initially lost his. And Vivi, with his galleys being split into 2 groups of 3, is taking a disadvantageous fight here, even though Fire also has some split. I love that Fire's microing in the 2 places at once. In fact, both players really. But Fire really taking the fight to Vivi's docks there and the remaining fishing ship, when possibly had no right to, with Vivi being all over him. If we've got galleys in all over the place, actually, this is like multitasking hell for the players to be trying to control, like galleys here, galleys here, galleys here, and try to eco at the same time. This is the moment when you look at the fact that you can see them all being microed in the different places and think, like, this is why I'm not 2K. Along with many, many other reasons. But yeah, At minute 14 and 45 seconds, it's a pretty damned even game. 26 villagers each. Just the one fishing ship in play for Vivi, which is countered by Fire being a villager ahead. And when I started to say this sentence, we did have 11 versus 11 on the military, and we got 7-7 on the kills to deaths. So pretty even, but it feels like Fire at the moment in the next few seconds could take some nice snipes with his galleys being properly grouped up and Vivi being sort of out of position, and now Fire's going to get a couple of quick kills, surely. A lot of damage done to those galleys though. All three of those will go down straight away if they get hit. Fire managing to do some walling, getting Blacksmith up now. It feels like a sort of late-ish fletching for Fire. Vivi with barracks, is he already feeling the heat on the water and doesn't want to fight it anymore to like fully give his attention fully to it? Fire clicking fletching now. Vivi not even with a blacksmith, so he's gonna do a barracks with instead of a blacksmith, and that amounts to a concession of the water pretty much. Microing against Fire with 2 ships less and no fletching against Fire's fletching. Don't fancy him in that. Now it starts to be 16 galleys to 11. Big difference opening up. Vivi with a lot of damaged ones there. Look how low some of these ones are. And as Hightower mentioning in the chat, a good catch by him because I didn't spot it. The Town Watch coming in from Fire means that he's more scared about the sneak. And he hasn't seen Vivi in reinforcing his galleys to a huge extent in the last few minutes. It's felt like he's cut his production a little bit. And the Town Watch is going to pay off from him because he can already see this forward archery range from Vivi. Completely walled off. Stone walls even coming up by the water, although Vivi's going to move in and try and deny that, and should deny that with the galleys actually. Some problem is he's now trapping his navy. If Fire gets here with all the galleys, Vivi will be in worlds of trouble, but he's going to get out just in time, not without sustaining further losses. And Vivi really trapping himself now. This is going to decide the water firmly in Fire's favour if it wasn't decided already. Suffering a lot of casualties on, well, if it's right to say a ship being sunk as a casualty, on the water in his just desire to try and keep this area open. But he's just, I don't see him getting in anywhere soon. Fire's going to stonewall everything. He's already stonewalling down here, and it would take a hell of a long time for Vivi to walk around there, and it's not like he's going to be able to get a transport across either unless he's super sneaky. Now doing fletching, but mainly for his archers and this incoming tower. On the water, Fire has 18 warships to the 3 of Vivi, so complete concession of the water. And Fire's side adding in more fishing ships already. Really good to just cut the galley production there and start to take advantage of the fish boom that you're going to be able to have for the rest of the game if you play it right and don't let your opponent back on water. Ultimately that lets you just jump to the castle age much faster than they can. And actually Fire's already floating good resources, and if he used the market, which he doesn't yet have, so if he used a market, then he could just buy his way up to castle straight away. He does need another feudal building to advance, and considering that he's successfully walled off on the sides, he can probably skip doing an archery range or anything like that on his second feudal building. Just go market, go to the castle age, and if he really feels the need to, mangonel to defend this northern area. And yeah, market being built by him. Everything's lucky for Vivi. 750 wood in the bank. I guess this is a product of him having set his economy up for spamming galleys from the docks, and then he wasn't producing galleys for a long time, and he just kind of took his eye off the ball in that regard. But market being built, he'll sell that, and once he's sold like 300 wood or something, he'll be able to balance his economy quite well and be more or less ready to click up the castle age. Good number of archers on the field now, around 10. But Fire's already on his way up.
Thank you, you wonderful
We have a
man.
donation. No, we have a subscription. Thank you very much, Tooth_ARE, for subscribing to the stream and helping to support AOC with your subscription. All the donations and subscriptions to Vivi Official do go to tournaments and sponsoring events and such like, not to the streamers themselves. So, Fire around 40 seconds faster to the castle age. When he gets there, be interesting to see whether he bothers with war galley, because he knows he's got the water one. Perfect spreading of the galleys everywhere. So there's no way that Vivi is redocking anywhere really. Fire's all over the place with his galleys, as you can see on the minimap. And really what he probably will just look to do, fish boom a bit more, get something out to defend at home, make sure Vivi doesn't try and break in. He's actually going to go with a stable. Interesting. I'd have expected him to hold off and go with the Cedar Workshop and just defend a bit. The Knights seem an odd defense choice, but I guess the reason he's doing them is to transport them across the lake, because he's got full water control now, and Vivi is going to be in a world of trouble if Fire just drops 5 knights into the back of here by transporting across the lake. And really, actually, with Vivi not being able to get in, he's not attacking anymore, and therefore Fire not having to defend against anything. So Siege Workshop, the right choice in that regard. I hadn't actually noticed that Vivi's archers weren't banging on the door up here still, and that they've actually gone home. Don't tell me he's trying to sneak around the other side. I think he's actually going to try and sneak around the side, which I just find odd, because he's never going to get away with that. Like, there's no way Fire has been that stupid to leave that open or to not have galleys there. What Vivi did see though was the transport ship, just if he was paying attention. I'm just going to clue him in to the fact that something's going to be dropped off. Fire with the 4 fishing ships, not 2. But you're right, he could have looked to add a few more if he had the resources to, but I guess he's spending resources primarily on the buildings that he's produced, like Stable, Siege Workshop, TC, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's shifted the balance of his economy a little bit away from the amount of wood that he was gathering before, just because he's not pumping from 4 docks anymore. Yeah, dropping a Siege Workshop at home is probably going to send one siege weapon along with 4 knights to Vivi's side of the map in that case, because I don't think he's unduly worried about the pressure in the north just now, because he hasn't seen anything there for a long time. He's actually just seen this, which is helpful to him. He's going to laugh because he knows he's got stone walls here and outposts, and he just can't be hurt. Going to be feeling really comfortable. Also tells him that Vivi's going to have less back at home to actually stop him when he drops off the knights. And this mangonel is not going to be the best choice for Vivi when the knights actually arrive, which they are just now doing. It seems Fire only sent 3 knights over with no siege weapon. I'm surprised he didn't send 5 units in the transport. Surprised he didn't send at least 5 knights or 4 knights and a ram or a mangonel or something. So Vivi with Monastery at home, going to defend against the knights fairly well, but it's going to be hard for the monks to actually chase the knights all around. If I was to find this, for example, there'd be a bloodbath out there. But at least Vivi has 3 TCs, so that gives him the capacity to actually hide quite a lot of his villagers, as long as he keeps them working close to the TCs. Fire's just looking for targets with his knights now, but everywhere he goes for the moment he's finding TCs and a defensive monastery, so not able to do too much damage at this point. And He is adding a lot of fishing ships now, which is good for him in terms of following up with Imperial Age timing. But Vivi is getting ahead in villager terms, and about to try and add in a 4th TC, so he's got a mega boom now, and benefiting from the free handcart with a mostly farming economy. He's going to make that food eco pretty strong, even though he's not on the water. Fire, meanwhile, only getting horse collar and only just doing some farms, but like I said, having lots of fishing ships, which is always a really great advantage to have. I think Vivi, like, food count pretty low. He's probably struggling to... Well, no, he's not struggling to produce from the TCs, it's just because he queued so many at once. Yeah, trying to get some extra gold in the north, and Fire's actually going to drop off a bunch of, presumably some more knights. Oh no, 2 villagers. In behind... Well, I say in behind Vivi's lines. He doesn't really have a line, does he? Because he's not walled, but he's going to stonewall Vivi off from getting that gold in the north as those knights from Fire continue to be chased away by monks. 3 out for Vivi in defence now. It's quite a lot to defend from only 3 knights. I am now deciding on a war galley upgrade. Still doesn't see any kind of redocking attempt from Fire, but it is going to provide a lot more. Sorry, redocking attempt from Vivi, but it is going to provide a lot more fire support. Once again, if you're pardon the pun, to the inland area, allow him to make a more effective beachhead when he wants to attack Vivi on the land. 9 villages behind us, countered by the fishing ship differential, but 26 to 12 military, that's mostly... Oh no, not 26 to 12, 28 to 10 now. That's mostly, of course, the war galleys out on the water. But Fire basically ready to click Imp. Vivi is selling some resources. He could sell some more wood to buy some more food to go up. But both players are going to have similar Imperial Age timings. So Fire not using the advantage of having won the water to land a killing blow just yet. And both players literally identical Imperial Age timings. I think Vivi's done a good job of booming on the land here to try and keep pace with Fire, considering that he has the fish to take advantage of. I do feel like Fire may be delayed a bit in adding in extra fishing ships and could have gone with a few more, although at this point he needs to redock as well, because most of the deep fish is quite far away from his docks. They're actually taking shorefish, which isn't that great. This extra dock he's done that solely for fish, and that's a good one. Knights hitting the wood line. Got to pick up a good number of villas though. There's nothing much in defence. I don't. Oh yeah, there's one monk. I was going to say I don't see Vivi's monks anywhere, but there is one. Going to at least pick up 1 conversion. But nonetheless, Vivi could do without having half of his gold and wood economy idled as he transitions to the Imperial Age. He actually wants to redock now. That's what this castle's for. Fire did have galleys patrolling back and forth here, but it seems he's grouped quite a lot of galleys up, and he seems to have too many outside of his own docks, which doesn't seem to achieve much for me. Rather than patrolling like that, I'd rather see them patrolling out in the shore, or just loitering here. Like, I'm not sure why they seem to be all going back. Yes, it's allowing Vivi to redock, and although Vivi's coming from a significant deficit on the water, it is still dangerous to let your opponent come back, especially if you're not seeing it. Now he's going to find out. And he's just now getting ballistics, which I think he clicked before he saw this dock, because judging by the research progress. But we should expect to see both of them getting galleons straight away. Hey now. Or at least Fire. Vivi might just focus on production for a second. I think the problem is, for for his attempt to actually regain the water. Fire found him a little bit too early. Vivi had like 2 more docks, but the problem is that he only had sort of like 3 docks when Fire found him, and Fire's trying to deny him building extra ones. And he was doing upgrades in like 2 of them. So he was doing careening and he was doing war galley. Now he's doing galley, and his production is actually just not there. So Fire found him at the right time. He's also coming in from the north. Knights still showing up in dribs and drabs. Scouts as well, and a ram. So Vivi's going to have to defend on the land with lots of his economy being up here. His second goal, main goal, most of his wood gathering up there. Just as Vivi's trying to get going on the water. And I think Fire still in a really good overall position here. Still comfortably favourite to close out this game. Vivi's going to need something special now with this level of threat to his eco in the north, and he's redocking in the south being denied, and yet the GG being called. And yeah, that's 2-1 to Fire, and he goes through to the semi-final to face Yinghua. You might have seen a little bit of those Fire versus Yinghua games if you were watching the Vivi official stream last weekend. They watched some games on like super fast speed, so you may know something about that. But considering we definitely didn't get a proper cast of them, I'll try to do it at some point. Maybe this week, I don't know, we'll see. Because I've still got Viper versus Fang Zhouqi and Fire versus Yinghua to do. And then after that, the international community, if you like, will have seen all the games from the DauT Cup that have been played already. We've still got one semi-final and the final to play. And as I said, probably in like 2 or 3 weeks, because they have to organise it at a time that suits the players, that suits the Chinese community, because they're sponsoring and streaming it as well. So we'll see when that happens, but you can check AOC Zone for when the news of that will come out in the forum and in the event calendar. Right, I'm going to take a break now because I need some dinner before Brothers in Arms, and that starts in 30 minutes. So hope you enjoyed the DauT Cup games this afternoon. We're going to switch our focus a little bit later. Thanks to all those that have donated to support Masters of Arabia 2v2 thus far. It's been really awesome to get that much support. So in just a few hours of streaming, I'll be back a little bit later after a slightly more extended rest. It's going to be in 27 minutes that those games are supposed to be starting. So I'll just play some music and be AFK for that intervening period. Cheers, guys.